Hi, welcome to America Uncovered. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Let's talk about Brett Kavanaugh. Wait, before you click away, this is not about whether Judge Brett Kavanaugh did or did not sexually assault women back when he was in school. It's about the larger issue of why this is such a big deal and how it's being used as a political tool to prevent Kavanaugh from being confirmed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and why that's bad for everyone: liberals, conservatives, and sexual assault survivors. Besides, whether Kavanaugh did or didn't do it, let's be honest, 99% of people have already made up their minds. It's like the dress. Is it black and blue, or is it white and gold? It all depends on how you see it. Everyone is sure their opinion is the right one. We all spent days arguing over it, and it's virtually impossible to change anyone's mind or come to a compromise. And that seems to be what's going on right now with the Brett Kavanaugh case. Last week, America sat through 9 hours of hearings where Dr. Blasey Ford gave a tearful testimony of how Brett Kavanaugh and his friend sexually assaulted her at a party in 1982 and how it permanently affected her psychologically. And then Brett Kavanaugh gave an impassioned defense, saying he didn't do it, he's not that type of person, and how he and his family have been through hell because this false accusation has ruined his name. But whether people are siding with Dr. Ford or Judge Kavanaugh seems to mostly fall along party lines. Because even before the hearing, support for Kavanaugh fell along party lines. Kavanaugh is conservative. If confirmed, he would be the number 5 tie-breaking judge on the 9-member Supreme Court. So the stakes are high. And the stakes are high because America has a problem. The political views of a single Supreme Court justice can make or break really important cases and can influence federal laws for decades. It didn't used to be like this. Until 1940, only less than 2% of Supreme Court rulings were decided by a single vote. But now, more than 20% are. And that number seems to be going up. When America's founding fathers created the Supreme Court, they wanted it to be a non-political body that could interpret the law. But in a way they probably never intended. The Supreme Court today also sometimes sort of makes laws on controversial issues. For example, the 2010 Citizens United decision. It ruled that corporations have free speech just like people. And that's allowed billionaires like George Soros or the Koch brothers to spend tens of millions of dollars to influence elections through super PACs. And the 2012 Supreme Court decision on Obama's Affordable Care Act that said the government could require individuals to buy health insurance. And the 2015 Obergefell versus Hodges case that legalized gay marriage across the entire country by ruling that states could not prohibit it. So effectively, the Supreme Court is making laws through its rulings, even though lawmaking is supposed to be the job of Congress. And those 3 cases I just mentioned all came down to one single vote. They were all 5-4 decisions. And because close decisions are more and more common, Congress fights tooth and nail to confirm or reject judges based on political ideology. Back in 2016, Obama had the opportunity to appoint a Supreme Court justice to fill the slot of a conservative who had just passed away. Obama nominated Merrick Garland, a liberal. Republicans didn't want a liberal, but instead of rejecting Garland on his qualifications as a judge, they delayed the entire nomination process, claiming Obama couldn't appoint someone during an election year. It worked. The Supreme Court remained one man short for an entire year until Obama stepped down, Trump took office, and appointed his own guy to fill the slot. Now Trump gets to fill another Supreme Court slot, and he wants to appoint Brett Kavanaugh, another conservative. But Democrats know the game, and they're playing hardball too, by doing everything they possibly can to stop Kavanaugh from being confirmed. After a lot of back and forth, what ended up happening was a 9-hour televised hearing, so 2 people could give testimony about an incident that happened in 1982. Now, it turns out that Dr. Ford had written a letter to her representatives about her sexual assault allegations back in July. But the sudden reveal of the allegations after Senator Dianne Feinstein's office sat on her letter for months makes it look like a political tool designed to portray Kavanaugh as unsuitable to be a Supreme Court justice. After Dr. Ford's allegations went public, 2 other women have made allegations against Kavanaugh, but neither one testified at last week's hearing. Because this political fight now involves sexual assault allegations, it's become a referendum on how America treats sexual assault itself.
We do treat people differently who are either the victims or the perpetrators of this based on their politics now and based on their gender. That is a huge mistake.
It's like this. Under the now political framework of these allegations, either you don't want Kavanaugh appointed, so you want to believe he committed sexual assault, or you do want him appointed, which forces you to either believe he didn't commit sexual assault, or that he did, but it's okay because it was a long time ago, or it's not that serious. This is messed up. Sexual assault should not be a political tool. It happens to liberal women. It happens to conservative women. It sometimes even happens to libertarian women, but they carry guns, so watch out. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 women in America has been sexually assaulted at some point in her life. 1 in 3 is outrageously high, and it virtually guarantees that you know a woman who's been sexually assaulted, even if she hasn't told you. Most victims don't say anything. Maybe they're embarrassed, maybe they're afraid, or maybe they think it's their fault. But because so many women have experienced it, or have a friend who has, it's no wonder so many women, and occasionally dudes, feel strongly enough to protest. And even if sometimes women put themselves in risky situations, like going to a party where there are a lot of drunk guys, here's the thing. Men should not be assaulting women. A good and honest man ought to be protecting women, not assaulting them. And being drunk is a totally lame excuse. But we live in an imperfect world, where things that shouldn't happen do. Or things happen when people are drunk and it's not clear what actually happened, if it happened at all. And that's the case with Brett Kavanaugh. He's being accused of sexual assault and he denies it. But in the American legal system, the burden of proof is supposed to be on the accuser, not the accused. What makes this tricky in sexual assault cases is that they're notoriously difficult to prove. There's often no physical evidence, and often the line between consent and non-consent can be as blurry as those beer goggles. So this case, as it often is, has come down to he says, she says. Who do you believe? But does who you believe really only come down to politics? Couldn't there be conservatives who think that Kavanaugh shouldn't be on the Supreme Court if he committed sexual assault? Or liberals who think that Kavanaugh didn't commit sexual assault? No, the dress is either black and blue or white and gold. There are only 2 teams and you have to pick one. That's how it works, even if everyone hates it. But fortunately, this issue may be partly resolved by an unlikely source, Republican Senator Jeff Flake. After a plea from his friend, Democratic Senator Chris Coons, and after being confronted on an elevator by victims of sexual assault who begged him to take the allegations more seriously, Senator Flake decided to delay the vote on Kavanaugh and give the FBI time to investigate the allegations.
I think it would be proper to delay the floor vote for up to but not more than 1 week in order to let the FBI continue to do an investigation.
And President Trump supports this.
Having them do a thorough investigation, I actually think, will be a blessing in disguise.
The main reason Flake called for the investigation is that he felt the politics surrounding these accusations were tearing this country apart. 60 Minutes sat down with Senators Flake and Coons together.
It's this whole tribal nature of politics now that it becomes, shirts and skins, us versus them. There's no room for compromise or doubt.
And that's been projected onto our federal courts and our judiciary. People increasingly talk in public and in the Senate about essentially red jersey judge, blue jersey judge. That can't be the case for our federal judiciary if it's going to continue to be a respected gold standard judiciary around the world.
And if 60 Minutes can get a Republican and a Democrat to sit next to each other without yelling over each other, that's progress. I know, the bar is low. So now we wait for the FBI to investigate and present its results.
What are the chances that we are going to be in exactly this same place a week from now?
There's a chance, and we knew that, and some of our colleagues said that.
Wait, can we go back to the most telling part of that? I think Senator Coons just sighed for all of America, liberal and conservative. Hopefully, this will create a positive change in the country, where women can feel free to talk about sexual assault. But it would be bad if sexual assault became just another tool of politicians to club their opponents. Dr. Christine Ford should be heard. So should women like Juanita Broderick, who has accused Bill Clinton of raping her. Broderick's case was also a case of he said, she said, and her allegations went public back in 1999 when Clinton was still president. But her case did not get an investigation. Politics is ugly. Hopefully, we can do better than we did back then. I just hope the FBI will finally be able to answer the most important question of all. What color is this stupid dress? What's that, Shelley? What do you mean it's both? Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. And I want you to know that America Uncovered is not sponsored by George Soros or the Koch brothers or any rich person or corporation. It's funded directly through support from viewers like you. Go to our crowdfunding website, patreon.com/AmericaUncovered, and become a patron and contribute $1 or more per episode. You are what keeps this show going. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.